Gray Widower. The first indication that something had entered the pharmacy came from the webbing. Thick, translucent strands had been stretched across the shelves overnight. Private Wayne Jessup walked in without registering what it meant. He was dead before he reached the cold medicine aisle. The baby spiders that hatched from inside his chest cavity were no larger than a thumbnail. The ones that laid the eggs were the size of a large dog. The Gray Widower is one of the clearest daylight threats documented in the mist. In Stephen King's original 1980 novella, it is described as black with yellow banding across its body, with 12 to 14 multi-jointed legs and eyes that are a deep pomegranate red. It does not resemble any spider native to Earth. The joint structure is wrong. The leg count is wrong. The eyes sit differently in the face. Whatever evolutionary path produced it, it did not happen here. In the 2007 film adaptation directed by Frank Darabont, the design was revised. The film version is gray with long, spiny legs, a wasp-like abdomen, a skull-shaped head, and 4 forward-facing eyes. The general size is roughly 50 to 70 pounds by estimation. What makes the Gray Widower notable is not its size. It is its secondary weapon. The creature produces silk from a gland on its upper abdomen and can discharge it as a projectile. The webbing burns through fabric, skin, and muscle on contact. Juvenile gray widowers do not appear to produce webbing, which implies the gland develops over time. Adults use it both offensively at range and to construct web structures for ambush and containment of prey. The film confirms the species can reproduce inside a human host. In the pharmacy sequence, a military police officer's body is found swollen with eggs, and the young erupt from him shortly after. The Gray Widower does not appear to be deterred by the presence of other, larger creatures. It was observed clinging to the legs of the Behemoth in the novella version of the story, which places it in direct proximity to the largest documented creature ever encountered in the mist. Giant spider creatures. By the time the military convoy moved through the cleared stretch of road at the film's end, the creatures burning at the tree line were not the ones the survivors had seen inside the store. These were larger, much larger. Each one is approximately the size of a passenger car. The giant spider creatures are documented only in the 2007 film. They do not appear in King's original novella. Their visual profile is consistent with the Gray Widower, but at a scale that suggests either a different species entirely or a mature developmental stage of the same organism. The body plan appears consistent: elongated legs, spiny texture, forward-facing head. The scale difference is the only meaningful observable distinction. Also, none of the giant spider creatures were observed using webbing in their brief screen appearance. They were being incinerated by military flamethrowers when the camera found them. None survived the encounter on screen. Their burning bodies suggest that military flamethrowers or heavy cleanup operations were enough to kill them. Inside a confined space, though, a creature of that scale would have presented a substantially different threat profile than the dog-sized variants the survivors dealt with for most of the film. Arachni Lobster. 2 members of the survivors group were bisected by the same type of creature. The creature responsible retreated into the mist each time with the remains. The Arachni Lobster stands approximately 15 to 20 feet in height, roughly 2 full stories, and combines structural features that do not correspond to any single Earth taxonomy. Its body plan borrows from multiple phyla simultaneously. 6 arthropod legs support the lower torso. The upper body carries 2 significantly larger forelimbs ending in pincer-like claws, held against the body in a posture consistent with mantis, shrimp, or raptorial crustaceans. The head extends forward and backward, with the cranial mass arching rearward into a crest. The jaw structure appears vertebrate rather than mandibulate, meaning it does not have the side-to-side chewing motion of an insect or crustacean, but instead a top-down bite more consistent with a reptile or fish. In the novella, King describes the color as a deep, cooked lobster red with massive, black, lusterless eyes. In the film, it is rendered as pale pinkish gray and is primarily seen in silhouette, which may be the single smartest visual decision in the production. The exoskeleton is thick enough to provide meaningful protection against small arms fire. The creature was not killed on screen. It was not driven off by gunfire. Both times it appeared, it completed its attack, collected what it came for, and left. The Behemoth. A group of survivors left the supermarket in the early morning, driving through a town that had almost completely disappeared into the mist. Then the car slowed. Something was moving ahead of them, but at first, the mist made it impossible to understand the scale. Still, each step landed with enough force to shake the road. Utility poles bent and snapped as its legs passed through them. The survivors looked up and saw a shape so large that the top of it vanished into the gray. The Behemoth is the single largest creature confirmed in either the film or the novella. Its height has been estimated at over 240 feet, which would place it in rough comparison with a 20-story building. Its foot structure leaves impressions the size of large SUVs pressed into solid concrete. In the novella, David Drayton, the story's narrator, registers the impression that a blue whale would look like a trout standing next to this animal, and that it would even dwarf the largest dinosaur that ever lived on Earth. The body plan is arthropod at the base. 6 double-jointed legs support the torso, each leg's lowest joint, clearing the height of a standard utility pole, approximately 35 to 40 feet off the ground. The underbelly carries hundreds of smaller, multi-jointed appendages, described as praying mantis-like in structure. Above the head and across the back run what appear to be tentacles, or elongated appendages in the hundreds. Quiz. In the film version of The Mist, the behemoth's face has often been compared to an animal present on Earth. What animal was it? A. A crocodile. B. An anglerfish. C. A deep-sea isopod. D. A moray eel. Correct answer, B. The anglerfish comparison works for the film design because of the creature's underbite, small recessed eyes, and forward heavy head shape. But in the novella, King's description is much more limited. The behemoth passed and continued into the mist. It was not seen again. It left no indication of where it came from, where it was going, or whether there were others like it somewhere further out in the gray. Tentacles from Planet X. The first confirmed contact between the survivors and anything from the mist happened at the loading dock when a stockroom employee opened the bay doors to investigate a noise. Whatever was outside pulled him through the gap before anyone could react. The tentacles are the only creatures in the mist given a name in either the novella or the film, though the name used, Tentacles from Planet X, is informal. The organism they belong to is never seen. Only the appendages enter the frame. Each tentacle is described as reddish in color, with rigid black spines running along its surface. The spines function as hooks, designed to grip and puncture simultaneously. The tentacles are capable of independent extension through narrow gaps, suggesting the main body either remains outside or is too large to enter through standard openings. No communication, vocalization, or behavior beyond active predation has been documented. In the loading dock scene, the tentacles were cut with a knife, which caused them to withdraw. Scorpion flies. On the first night, the glass windows of the food house began accumulating insects. They pressed themselves flat against the windows using sucker pads on their undersides and produced no sound beyond the wet drag of their bodies across the glass. The scorpion fly is roughly 2 feet in length with a pinkish, burned flesh coloration and a segmented body. Its eyes are mounted on flexible, limber stalks at the front of the head and point in opposite directions simultaneously. The abdomen terminates in a stinger. Their primary behavior during the first night in the film was attraction to the store's lighting. They were not attempting to enter immediately, but the mass of them on the windows drew in the Pterobuzzards, which were hunting them. The scorpion flies are not harmless on their own. An individual scorpion fly can still be lethal if it gets close enough to sting. In the novella, scorpion flies are described as nocturnal and were observed clinging to the legs of the behemoth during the day. Whether they feed off the behemoth, shelter near it, or are simply drawn to its movement is not documented. Pterobuzzard. On the first night, the Pterobuzzards arrived behind the scorpion flies. They moved along the outside of the building, plucking insects off the glass with their beaks. One misjudged its angle, punched through a window, and ended up inside the store. The Pterobuzzard is a large flying creature, albino in the novella, with dark pinkish skin in the film. Its wing structure consists of 4 membranous pterodactyl-style wings, 2 replacing the forelimbs and 2 mounted on the back. This gives it both gliding capacity and powered flight. Its beak is heavy and hooked. Its legs are double-jointed, similar in structure to some of the ground-based creatures encountered during the same period. Wingspan estimates vary, but the creature is large enough to carry an adult human or to kill one with a single strike from its beak. In the film, the one that entered the store killed Tom Smalley by landing on him. It did not appear to be hunting him specifically. He was in the wrong place at the wrong moment. The creature was later set on fire, but it took several minutes to die. Pterobuzzards are confirmed to prefer scorpion flies over humans when both are available. Killer Kite. A survivor, driving out of town during the events of the novella, spotted something in the mist above the road. It was large, it was airborne, and it was moving parallel to the car for a sustained period before banking away and disappearing. Nobody exited the vehicle to investigate. The killer kite exists only in King's original novella. It was cut from the 2007 film entirely. Its description in the source material is intentionally incomplete. King renders it as a large, flat, aerial organism with a shape that does not correspond to standard bird or bat anatomy. What is confirmed is that it was large enough to be visible through the dense mist from a moving car, and that it appeared to keep pace with the vehicle for a period before banking away and disappearing. Whether it was aware of the car and its occupants is not established. Whether it is capable of attacking a ground-level target is also not established. In a catalog of documented predators, that absence of confirmed behavior is its own kind of data point. If this video was worth your time, subscribe to the channel. And hey, while you're at it, make sure to also leave a thumbs up. There is more of this coming.